Right now it is July 23rd and it is 12:29 p.m. Before I even start the video, I have to let everyone know that recently they were getting really obsessive over my face and how it looked like. This is not what I look like. They changed my face, and if you look at the one from May 31st or just like 5 days ago, you would see that my face looks totally different because they're not using their tools to make it look totally different and how they wanted to look like. If you want a real you want to know exactly what my face looks like, they let it go back to its original form on the day I had to get my brake pads changed, which was September 15th, 2025. That day I had to go get my brake pads changed, and D-Day 2025, that's the morning of June 6th, 2025, they let my face go back to its normal form. So if they're really talking about my face and how it looks like, let's not use pictures of me when my face has already been changed using these tools. I already gave the date for the days when you can actually just check how my face really looks like. Yeah, and also my personality, they use mental instability drugs to make me look really serious all day and act really serious, when in reality I cannot help. I cannot stop smiling to help save my life. That's how I am in reality. So basically this morning, afternoon, I'm gonna start by making a video about how Kelly from law enforcement has been running after me. Now, the thing that everyone has to understand is the fact that she's not doing this for a James Bond mission of trying to find out anything from me. She literally just started doing this on June 7th, the night of June 7th, literally 10 minutes after the brain savant test results came out. For the May 10th brain savant test, and then she started doing it again after the June 24th brain savant test result came out, literally 14 days afterwards on July 8th. And then on July 18th, I knew for a fact that she was going to try to do it again, a lot, because of the fact that they overanalyzed it, obviously, because of I knew it because Ibrahim the Greedy Farmer spokesperson's sister was being advertised. So even he asked me to, if I wanted to marry his sister, which obviously he knows that I wouldn't, because I've got like a billion different options after my brain savant gets freed. And I hate to sound like a douche, but it's true. But the fact of the matter is, he was just running a Ponzi scheme on me for his drug addiction problem, where I would sign a prenup agreement, and as soon as obviously the case would be over, I'm not going to marry his sister, who's way younger than me, and she's really ugly, and I have no interest in her. And he was only doing it out of greed because of the fact that the June 24th brain savant test result from last month was overanalyzed. And yeah, so basically I knew on July 18th that Kelly was going to start running after me and like crazy, to the point of insanity. Yeah, and that's exactly what happened. And she puts like really dirty ads and videos on my YouTube all day long when she's trying to run after me, and I have no interest in her, because obviously after my brain savant gets free, I just get married to someone whom I know, and not just some stranger out there anyways. And I have no interest in doing any of this because I don't have to. When my brain savant gets freed, I just get married to someone I know and love. This is just from today. Booking.com, okay, 10:57 a.m. It's like for your hotel stay, and then it's just 10:55 a.m. this morning, and it's the same gutter guards. The commercial that we've already talked about a billion different times. It says gutter protection on there. And because I know, because she used to put like never clean your gutters again. Anyways, this is yesterday at 6:39 p.m. July 22nd, and this is like the kind of dirty stuff that she was sending me, the same stuff that she used on me on my birthday, right over there. It's like the guy's chained and the girl's like kissing him with like a birthday cake. And so yesterday, also 7:04 p.m. This is it. And then it's like, this is supposed to be a dirty ad, just letting you know. It's not what you think it is. It's happy deck warming, and it's what it says on the cake. And yeah, that's also something she used on my birthday. And then 7:05 p.m. obviously yesterday, same thing. You could tell by the way the decorators is spelled on there that it's supposed to be a dirty ad on there. Yeah. And so then yeah, that's all I had to say. It's just, I'm sick and tired of it. Like, I knew she was going to come running after me and start using all these ads and videos with sexual innuendos in there. And yeah, it's just a little weird, but like, I'm not interested. I don't know how else to say it. I'm not interested. And literally 5 days ago on July 18, when I saw Ibrahim's sister's ad, he was literally running a Ponzi scheme on me. Obviously, he wants me to sign a prenup agreement, and then he wants me to sign a prenup agreement, and then he's just gonna harass me for money, like how he's doing in court right now, all my life, for his drug addiction problem. But yeah, that's all I had to say about that. Obviously Ibrahim is lying right now. We know this for a fact because November 20th, 2025 had evidence in it, and his envious mother took that evidence and she presented it in court when he knew that it was completely false and fabricated, and yet they pushed it forward very aggressively, and they were kept on being asked, are you sure you've seen me commit the crime? Are you sure you've seen Hassan commit the crime? And they're like, yes, we saw him commit the crime. They would not take it back until the very last moment when she messed up on the testimony stand, and even after then she was going to court and claiming that she really did witness me commit the crime. It's just exactly how envious these people are. And now you see exactly how greedy they are, that as soon as he sees the June 24th brain savant test reanalyzed on July 18, only 5 days ago, he's the first person in who goes himself and he asks law enforcement, like, ask him if he wants to marry my sister. Like, obviously you're a drug addict and you want the money, you want me to sign a prenup agreement based on the lies you've been making over and over again. I'm not doing this. Okay. Yeah. And so then after that, they have more set of lies that they make against me. And the second set of lies were already confessed to the government informant as being complete and total lies. That had evidence to it as well. Good piece of evidence that looked really real, but it was all fake. And then after the second set of lies, they then started to like blackmail me with money. Mainly starting February 21st, it was $60 million. And as soon as I saw it, I just told law enforcement right away. Let me guess. She, when she was working with the free car mechanic, helping her make November 20th, she told a free car mechanic, I've got other problems in my car. I've got other lies that I'm going to make against Hassan, just to make sure his brain savant, that we're not going to profit off of, no one gets any money either. Let me guess. That's what happened, isn't it? And now that she's been caught and she's been told that who the government informant was, she now has $60 million to ask me at least 8 times starting February 21st, 2026. And she's only asking me for this money because she knows, she doesn't think that I know that she got caught completely twice, not just November 20th, 2025, but the subsequent lies in January 2026, that her weirdo, drug addicted, sex addicted son Ibrahim, the greedy farmer spokesperson, was pushing forward really aggressively. And that's exactly why she's asking me for money, because obviously she knows that even if I short it to her, there's no reason that I'm going to give it to her in the end after the case is done anyways. But since this is the only thing she could do and try to sweet talk me, that's what she's trying to do, so she could at least get some illegal assurance of money from me. And law enforcement just went back to her and they just told her, like, he knows why you're asking for money. It was like $60 million she asked me 8 times. And not only that, she asked me on March 9th and April 11th, 2026, obviously, to marry her daughter, Ibrahim's sister, at that time as well. And 5 days ago, Ibrahim asked, July 18th, like, I'm not interested in your ugly looking weirdo daughter, sister. Like, leave me alone. And then after that, they started with more lies. Early April 2026, Ibrahim, the greedy farmer spokesperson, the drug-addicted sex addict, started more lies. And then they were pushing those really aggressively. Those had evidence to it as well. So the November 20th, 2025, that had evidence. Okay, they pushed it forward very aggressively, even after they got caught on the testimony stand. His envious mother still went back to court claiming that she really did witness me commit the crime, and that was just a slip-up on the testimony stand. She kept arguing this over and over and over and over again, and then she made more lies in early January 2026 that she didn't think were already confessed to the government informant. At this time, she didn't know that that was a government informant. She kept pushing these lies very aggressively, along with her son Ibrahim, the greedy farmer spokesperson. This was the second set of lies, with evidence, by the way. Again, with evidence. November 20th was with evidence as well. Okay, then obviously after like the entire thing of month of March, they take like a little break because they see that they've gotten caught lying twice, both of which times they pushed it forward very aggressively, raised mass panic and chaos, only for everyone to find out that there was real pieces of evidence in both times, but that it was all fake and all the statements surrounding it were false as well. So then after the entire month of March, they take like a little break of blackmailing me for money, mainly $60 million price tags sent to me since February 21st, at least 8 times, except for that, asked me to marry their daughter March 9th, April 11th, Ibrahim's sister. They tried to get me to marry her 2026, obviously this year, and I said no. Obviously, like, why am I gonna marry your daughter? Like, you're making false testimonies against me. I hate these people. She's too young for me. Obviously, no, I'm not gonna marry her. And it's like the $60 million they're asking me for. It's just a Ponzi scheme. That's all there is to it. Harass me for the rest of my life. They're so envious. I haven't even got any of this money. I haven't even used my brain savant. If I need to know if I have calculation as a brain savant or not, I ask law enforcement. Like, I'd be like, do I have calculation as a brain savant or not? Because I've never tested it. I've only tested innovation and photographic memory and focusing for 6 hours. And obviously, when you test it for 6 hours, you have it. And artificial intelligence is saying that you have it, so you have it. Unless you're psychic, there's no other way you would know. But like, seriously, these people like annoyed the living heck out of me the entire month of March 2026, asking me for money the entire time. Like, I don't have money. I've been raised poor, like really, really poor. My mother used to work at a fast food restaurant, and like when I was in college, she used to work at a grocery store and send me barely enough money for food. And right now, I don't even have my brain savant freed because these people won't stop making lies against me in court, and they're already asking me for money in terms of like $60 million. Like, how am I gonna have $60 million? Like, I don't have this money right now. I don't even have my brain savant freed right now. Like, what is wrong with these people? And they kept asking me the entire month of March to literally like marry their daughter, or like Farah the Greedy Framer is asking me to marry her daughter April 9th, and she also asked me March 9th. Yeah, and then these people are insane. Fact of the matter, my dad, the Greedy Framer, that sick freak, asked me on February 11th at 12:22 a.m. He starts texting me because then he finds out that they knew everything. The next set of lies that they had, along with whatever, obviously November 20th, because the government informant was that person who was fabricating. He was told everything. The next set of lies and everything. They got a free car mechanic, and they told the free car mechanic about all the problems in their car, including not just November 20th. They're like, well, but wait, we've got more problems we want you to fix. We've got more lies we're going to make after November 20th. We need your opinion on it and tell us how to exaggerate it. So there you go. Free car mechanic to fix up all their car problems. And anyways, so the second set of lies were all, so my dad, the Greedy Framer, on basically February 11th, asked me at 3:17 a.m. to commit incest with his big fat ugly old sister, Farah the Greedy Framer, at 3:17 a.m. in exchange for illegal assurance of money, because he sees that now that my brain savant hasn't been freed. They thought they had a master plan, basically. We've all got gathered together to plan out these lies. There's no way the government's going to know that these are lies. We're going to push them forward very aggressively, and we're going to make sure that the government can't even deny them, can't even argue against it. And if they argue, we'll just be like, how do you know they're lies? They're not lies. We're telling you the truth over here. But guess what? They did plan really well, and they got together and they planned it all really well before November 20th, 2025. The only problem is they got the free car mechanic on November 20th, 2025 to help them fabricate the lies on November 20th, 2025. And Ibrahim the Greedy Framer spokesperson's envious mother told him everything, including not just November 20th. She also told him that they had more lies planned out for like early January 2026 against me. And yeah, it's just so frustrating and irritating, like the amount of lies that these people had planned against me. But thankfully she confessed to the government informant about all of it. And the government informant found out about all of it. And so, yeah, they had a master plan. I'm not going to lie. Their plan was really, really good. They got together. They planned out all the lies. They made sure that my brain savant could not get freed. And the millions of dollars or the billions of dollars that artificial intelligence assured everyone that no one would get if they weren't getting it. Exactly, like, yeah. So their plan was really good. I'm not gonna lie. They never even spoke about the lies over the phone, and they actually planned it out together in person to make sure that this money cannot go to my mother if it's not going to them. Very good plan. I'm not gonna lie. Excellent plan. Great game for it. Except Ibrahim, the greedy farmer spokesperson's mother, his envious mother, gave away everything to the government informant right before she was fabricating November 20th, letting him know that these are all lies and that they had planned it all together amongst their siblings. And obviously they didn't talk about it over the phone before, so they weren't going to talk about it over the phone afterwards. But imagine Ibrahim, the greedy farmer spokesperson's mother's horror when she hears her brother, my dad, the greedy farmer, tell these lies when he's given the second chance after November 20th, and he's going, Ehsan committed this crime. This is how he did it. And he'd just be like, I know what last time might have been a lie, but this time we're telling the truth, and I'm telling the truth. And my framer sister witnessed him commit the crime. And like, seriously, like, it was just like, and the courts were just like, yeah, well, thanks for letting us know, and we'll take your lies into consideration, sort of thing. On February 10th, the courts get sick and tired of it. They just tell them straight out. They're like, look, we know these are lies. We know you and your framer sisters made them up. But I've got to say, excellent game work. Excellent game work. They didn't never discuss it over the phone. They only talked about it in person. But it's too bad. His framer sister, Ibrahim, the greedy framer spokesperson's mother, gave it all away to the government informant right before November 20th. She got a free car mechanic to work on her entire car, and she's like, but wait, November 20th is not the only problem we have in our car. We've got more set of lies that we want you to fix as well. Obviously, free service, get everything done. Thankfully, they did, and they gave him all the lies, thinking that he was going to help them exaggerate and fabricate it even more, when in fact he was informing to the government about every single thing that these people were doing, basically framing me in their envious rage to make sure that none of my brain savant money that artificial intelligence has marked as the most rare and profitable in the world could go to my mother if it's not going to them. So this was the second set of lies, early January 2026. Incredible evidence, by the way. Evidence was great. Everything was planned out really well. They used national security for their own personal benefit and their own selfish motive of locking up my brain savant to make sure that no one could get the money that they could not get. So this is the second set of lies. It also had a really good piece of evidence. The entire month of March, they took like a break. They've already lied so much that, there's no point in lying right now. They had to take a break. So the entire month of March, they had the government use a brain scanner, which, by the way, took billions of dollars to make, which Kelly uses to stroke my penis all day, make my rectum feel wet after she would touch my tongue, do stuff like that every time my brain savant test result comes out, okay? Or like, I alredy said it like 5 days ago, like, Kelly's gonna come running after me. I don't need her. Like, I'm good, really. Thank you very much for asking. After my brain savant gets freed, I'll go find a wife and live the rest of my life. I don't need someone touching my penis and my rectum all day long. And yesterday, Kelly literally touched my rectum all day long while putting dirty videos on my YouTube that I just showed you right now, with the girl going over with the birthday cake on a guy that's chained up and stuff like that. Like, the decorators is a dirty ad as well. They're all like dirty ads. They're supposed to have sexual innuendos in them. And Kelly uses, I knew July 18th she was going to do this all over again, and she did. Well, anyways, the thing about it is, the entire month of March, my dad, the greedy farmer, and his farmer sisters took like a little break, and the entire month of March, they used a brain scanner, which has been like made by the government with billions of dollars used, and it's only been used since 2001 to run Uncle Joey's sex games with his in-laws, followed by Uncle Joey himself, trying to use it to test to see if I'm going to help him run his sex game or not, which I was not. My mother told me as a child not to go near him. There's no reason I'm going to go with near any of law enforcement's low-life friends in the family. And then, except for Uncle Joey, they've been running money fraud with these tools like for years and years, and they only stopped like 2 months ago, and even that was after the government got involved really like aggressively. But and recently they were also trying to say that I was tipped off in law enforcement being there when I was a child, due to which I was never in any settings where anything even remotely considered bad was ever said around me ever again, when in fact the evidence clearly shows, and my mother even stated on February 15th, 8:30 p.m. without me ever trying to change her words or in any way, shape, or form, that She did leave me behind with people, anyone randomly willing to watch me for free when she had to go work at fast food restaurants when I was a child, and that it was due to her fear that I would run out the door if she left me behind at home alone. She said this. She didn't know what the right answer was. This is the honest truth. This is also what my mother said to law enforcement when she met them when I was an 11-year-old child. I have to leave him behind right now. I don't say any of these things, but I have to leave him behind until he gains the slightest bit of mental maturity as a child. This has to be done. And she told law enforcement this when I was 11 years old. Guess what? After I gained the slightest bit of mental maturity as a child, I was never seen in any settings where anything even remotely considered bad was ever said around me ever again. It wasn't me who was tipping off anyone. People like Uncle Joey or anyone else who could have said anything even remotely considered bad around me as a child were all tipped off by law enforcement themselves. Okay. Yeah. The other thing that I have to say is the fact that my dad, the greedy framer, is a very disgusting individual. On the one hand, he's going to say all kinds of things to try to degrade me and make me look bad, this and that. But at the same time, on February 11th at 3:17 a.m., he sent me a porn star's picture with his sister Fur's name on it. And at 3:56 a.m., he was trying his other sister, Ibrahim's big fat ugly old mother, to try to see if I would willing to commit incest with anyone, because he had gone crazy thinking that the money is going to go to my mother and he's not going to get a penny out of it. You got to remember, the early January lies were very well planned out. They weren't discussed over the phone. All these framer siblings, my dad, the greedy framer, and his framer siblings, got together and they planned out these lies together in person without the phone, so that there was no way that anyone would know that these lies were planned out, only because they wanted to use national security for their own personal benefit. And they had a great plan. I'm not gonna lie, I would have been screwed over if there wasn't a government informant involved. But thankfully, Ibrahim the greedy framer spokesperson's mother saw the government informant as free service, not just for November 20th, but she was just like, if I'm getting free service, I'm gonna get it for all of it. So she gave him all the lies she had, even for early January 2026. Thankfully, she did. And that's how they got caught with the early January 2026 lies, which had a great piece of evidence. Now, my dad had this lie planned out really well. He worked really hard on it to make sure that these millions or billions of dollars that artificial intelligence guaranteed people in law enforcement for my brain savant money, due to it being so rare and profitable, that my mother could not get any of the money. He planned it out really well. Imagine his horror on February 10th when he's told by the courts that the courts knew that these were absolute lies and there was no way the courts are going to take these lies. Why are the courts not going to take it? Because his framer sister, Ibrahim's envious mother, told the government informant everything. How do I know this? That's just how criminal psychology works. When two criminals meet each other, one tells the other everything, takes the weight off of their chest and puts it on the other person. It's basic human psychology, okay? She told him everything. And so there was nothing he could do except for try anything possible that he could give me in exchange for illegal assurances of money. So he tried first with incest. February 11th, he just starts right away. February 10th, the night of February 10th, he's told by the courts, we know about these lies. He worked really hard on those lies, by the way. He worked really hard on those lies. Never talked about it over the phone, only talked about it, discussed it in person with his own framer siblings, make sure that this money that my mother was about to get, she could not get either, and no one can get that he's not getting. He worked really hard on these lies. And February 10th, imagine his horror when the courts tell him, we know these are lies, there's no way we're going to take these. Because obviously, not only did his sister, Ibrahim's envious mother, tell the government informant that these were lies, she walked him through everything, the entire process, took all the weight off of her chest, put it all on him. Thankfully, she did that. So now, basically, these lies are all gone. They're gone. There's nothing he could do about it. So now he goes into a frenzy. Entire night of February 11th, after midnight, he's calling and sending me, texting, like he doesn't know what time it is, sending me porn stars pictures with his sister's name on it. Okay, February 11th at 12:22 a.m., 22 minutes past midnight. So nice to hear from you after so long. That's what the message reads. The entire day of February 10th, I'm typing up journals, writing in for the court. It says in there, like, dear court, This man is a pathological liar. This is all about money, and it's my brain savant money that artificial told or intelligence told him about. And he just acts like, no, money. What money? And so basically February 11th, when he realized that money's going to my mother, he went into a frenzy. And the entire night he's sending me a porn star's picture with his sister first name on it, 3:17 a.m. Then his sister, the big fat ugly old Ibrahim's envious mother at 3:56 a.m. And then he's told on February 11th that this is open advertisement for incest. You can't send a porn star's picture with your sister's name on it. But on March 7th, again, he sends it 3 times again. This man is he's got no shame of his sister for his name on the porn star. Then, since he's got no shame, obviously he starts sending me, starting March 10th, and every single day afterwards, his other sister, big fat ugly old Afreen, sexually explicit pictures of a woman resembling her every single day afterwards, and on March 10th, to try to get this money illegally assured to him any way, shape, or form possible. Obviously, if he's going to argue that, oh, I don't think there's money, brain savant, he can't do this. He's not even, like, why were you doing this? Why were you trying to promote incest after you already told February 11th that this is an open advertisement for incest? Why were you trying to do this? That's a very specific and simple question for him to answer. The other thing is, so then, like, take a little break in the entire month of basically February and March. Because they've been caught with 2 set of lies. And then after March, they're just told by law enforcement, well, they're going to let his brain savant go if you don't do something right now. And so basically early April, they start their third set of lies. Now, before we get to the third set of lies, you have to remember how my dad, the greedy famer, started his money blackmail price tag. So the entire time before February 17th, he's been trying to argue that he doesn't think there's any money. The brain, he just says these things. He just says them. There's absolutely zero, none, not one instance of me ever living with him ever in my life. Since I was a child, 5 years old, till this day today, there's 0 instances of me ever living with him ever. Even when I was overseas, I was not even living in the same country as him, never talked to him on the phone, making it impossible for someone that I have never even spoken with my entire life or lived with even in the same country to have had any influence or effect on my life whatsoever, or to have known anything about me, which is why that once in 5-year phone call changed to every single day in 2025. My mother raised me to be very polite and respectful, to which I was very polite and respectful towards him. But once I got this message that he knew about my brain savant and he was changing his tactics to call every single day, this envious, greedy man, I obviously didn't pick up his call anymore because I realized he got the message very quickly, and then he started blackmailing with law enforcement right away in 2025. But guess what? After I won my case June 28, 2025, last year, he starts running after me like crazy. Starts calling my sister July 18, saying that he's thinking of the baby me and that I've just been born right now. He's even telling my sister that he cries on his free time thinking about me. All this was all just basically drama. And he found out about my brain savant money. He wanted it all for himself. Yeah, so basically, yeah, that is what happened. November 1st, he asked me again if I wanted to go with him. Obviously not. Like, you know what the answer is. And so he went into a frenzy and he asked all his sisters to go and try to frame me after November 1st, 2025. Now, so the second set of lies were after November 25th, okay? These were in the month of January 2026, the entire month, okay? And then February and March, they take a break because they really realized there have been too many lies, and the major master plan lies that they were not going to take back at any cost. Like the January 2026 lies, you can like literally put like anything in front of them, they will not take those lies back because they planned it out together without using the phone. They worked really hard on it. They were not going to take it back. But it just so happened she confessed everything to the government informant, because of which they had to. So now they kind of gave up. The entire month of February and March. Now February 17th, my dad, the greedy framer, is told by a government informant that they're letting my brain savant go, obviously, because second set of lies were caught, and then my dad, the greedy framer, then the government, by the way, is not going to take national security at risk. They're not going to let someone keep making false testimonies to acquire their own personal agenda done of locking up someone's brain savant money so that no one gets their money, the money. Like my mother can't get the money, his ex-wife can't get the money if he's not getting any of the money, stuff like that. They're not going to let someone do this to their national security. Okay, they did it on November 25th and November 20th, and they did it so much so that no one on CNN could smile on live TV for days afterwards. Then they did it again in early January 2026, all confessed to the government informant as being lies. So now the government is tasked with, they already know these are lies. It's all confirmed. They know this for a fact. These people are fabricators. They're envious. They want to lock up my brain savant. The artificial intelligence marked it as literally the most rare and profitable in the world. And it also increases in power over time. They're like, no, we're not letting anyone else have this money since we're not going to get it either. He tried a little bit, but he knew for a fact that crying and begging in front of me while he knew for a fact we've never gotten along my entire life was no use, and he was just humiliating himself. Well, after June 28, 2025, he was humiliating himself because he knew that was the only option that he had. But then he would take breaks between humiliating himself by begging me and crying to me and telling me that he cries on his free time thinking about me, to then going over to court and begging them to not let my brain savant free at any cost. He would play both sides. Basically, yeah. Till on November 1st, he just asked me if I was willing to go with it. I was like, no. There's no way. And at that point, he gets the message and he asks all of his sisters, he's like, all of you guys go. Every single person goes to court right now, make sure his brain savant doesn't get freed. And that's when they started fabricating, because they realized there's no way I'm giving anyone any money. You're not blackmailing me for any money. Yeah, when my brain savant gets freed, money's all mine. I do whatever I want with it. I don't share with anyone. I'm not going to be forced into doing this. So basically, yeah. So the government now is like, they're not going to let someone play around with their national security like this. Okay, someone making up lies over and over again. They knew what the motive was, that Ibrahim the Greedy Farmer spokesperson's mother basically told the government informant everything. But right till now, it wasn't seen, right? So February 11th, yes, he was told that that it was an open advertisement for incest to be sending a porn star's picture with your sister first name on it. But right now he hadn't done it again. So the motive is still like kind of vague, like what is the motive? So February 17th, the government now needs to take out the motive from him, pry it out of him, take it out, find out why he's been making all these lies, working together with his siblings to get this done. So February 17th, basically a government informant talks to my dad, the Greedy Farmer, and he basically says, look, the government's letting his brain savant go. There's nothing else you can do. You've been caught with 2 sets of lies. There's no one else making false testimonies against him. They're going to let his brain savant go. And that's when he says, let me make videos. I'm going to make some videos for the government. And they're like, obviously he was a government informant. So he said, no one's going to watch your videos because you've already ran after money too many times and you've been begging him all the year 2025 to talk to you. At the same time, you've been coming to court. No one's going to watch your videos. And then he reveals it. That's when he reveals it. February 17th at 3:02 a.m., he makes a list for Santa Claus for all the things that he wants in the millions of dollars and millions of euros, including $25 million Rolls Royce, basically asking for $25 million, 8.9 million euro mansion in London, stuff like that. Now, obviously, I saw the list, and either he thinks it's like his mom and pop shop. Like, it's not the government, it's his mom and pop shop. He's like, give him this list, use your brain scanner, find out if he's going to give me the money or not. Like, I looked at the list, and it was like, most annoying list in the world. You just want to smack that person across the face. Like, how dare you try to blackmail me? And it's just like, after February 17th, it was so annoying. All day and night long, all he did was, so February 19th, on the morning of February 19th, I'm watching TV, and like, he sends me that 8.9 million euro mansion 19 times in one morning, and he just keeps popping it with law enforcement. He's like, keep sending it. Keep asking him. Keep asking him. He's going to send it. He's going to give me the money or not. He's going to give me 8.9 million euros, or is he not going to give it? Ask him. Keep asking him. The problem with him was the fact that he already revealed his motive, and he got a strong no from me. A hard no on February 17th. I'm not giving you a single penny. Beg all you want. So then he resorted to harassment, and he just told law enforcement, he's like, keep asking him. Keep putting it on his phone. I mean, his TV. Keep putting it on the TV. Keep asking him. Ask him if he's going to give me the money or not. And like, February 19th, he puts it on there 19 times. February 19, 2026, 8.9 million euro mansion, like 8.9 million euros, basically. And I just told him straight out, I'm not giving you a single penny. I told law enforcement, I'm like, tell him not one red cent. He's not getting a penny out of me. So like literally, this is all he does the entire month of February and March, because he thinks this is the only option he's got. Obviously, like, he's been caught making lies twice, and both of those times had evidence, and both of those times created mass panic and chaos, not just in government, everywhere in the news media and everywhere. Everyone was shocked. People in the news media could not smile on live TV after November 20th. January 2026 created mass panic and chaos. They thought this evidence against me was real this time. It wasn't. They take something, it looks like something else, and then they add my name to it. And that's what they did on November 20th. That's what they did early January 2026. Yeah, and then they push it forward very aggressively. They've been caught doing this twice, and both of those times it created mass panic on chaos, so he didn't think he had any option. He was then, what this sick, disgusting, ugly old man does with his 5-foot-long beard, on March 7th, 2026, he sends me that same porn stars picture that's already been marked as an open advertisement for incest on February 11th at 3:17 a.m. with his sister's name on it 3 times on the morning of March 7th, 2026. Then he sees that I'm not doing it. This disgusting, ugly old man with his 5-foot-long beard on March 10th, 2026, every single day afterwards, sends me sexually explicit pictures of his own sister, who's like this big, fat, ugly old woman, dresses up like a nun, lives in Pennsylvania, on March 10th, 2026, every single day afterwards, only to try to get illegal assurance of money. When he sees that he's not going to get any money, and I was like, hard no to law enforcement. I was like, there's no way he's getting a single penny out of me. Tell him not 1 red cent, absolutely 0. This is how much he's going to get, 0. Tell him that. I told law enforcement to tell him that. Law enforcement told him he's not going to give you a penny. He won't give you a single penny. So then early April, he goes back to court. This time, it's the 3rd time the courts have given him the ability to narrate against me. He goes very aggressive in court this time. Okay, so but before this, he was already playing it for money before. So February 2nd, 2026, he calls me and he tries to sweet talk me the entire conversation. February 2nd. And he's trying to sweet talk me, calling me by my baby name, asking me if I'm going to fix his doorbell, like as if he lives right next door or something. Complete, total psychopath. The entire conversation, he's trying to sweet talk me. As soon as he hangs up, I write in my journal right away that on February 2nd, as soon as he hung up, he called court in a rage of anger, and he started his drama against me, saying that my brain savant should not get freed at any cost. How did I know? After hanging up the phone with him on February 2nd, 2026, right away, I wrote in my journal that he called the court right after he hung up the phone with me on February 2nd. Immediately afterwards, I write in my journal that my dad, the greedy framer, called the court in a rage of anger right after hanging up the phone with me on February 2nd, 2026, and he went in a rage of anger, and he was talking about how my brain savant should not get freed at any cost. How did I know that he was going to do this on February 2nd, 2026, right after hanging up the phone with me, despite him sweet-talking me, calling me by my baby name, trying to sweet-talk me the entire conversation, right up till the moment he hung up? He was sweet talking me. How did I know that he's going to call the court right away after hanging up the phone with me in a rage of anger to say that they should not let my brain savant get freed at any cost? Because he knew that the only reason he was sweet talking me was because he wanted illegal assurance of money from me without him having to ask. And he knew I knew this, and he knew I wasn't going to offer a single penny. And that's how I knew that he was going to, like, even till the very last second, he was sweet talking to me on February 2nd, and I knew as soon as he would hang up, he would call the court in a rage of anger and say that my brain savant should not get freed at any cost. And like, as soon as I hung up the phone, I just typed it in my journal right away. He calls the court at this time on February 2nd, right after he hangs up on the phone with me, even though the entire phone conversation till the very last second, he was sweet talking me. How did I know this? Because I knew that the only reason he was sweet talking me was because he knew I knew from 2025 that he knew about my brain savant potential from artificial intelligence, and he wanted illegal assurance of money from me by now on February 2nd. He thought he'd pushed me down enough to be able to get illegal assurance of money through blackmail and sweet talking, so that he's going to sweet talk me after he blackmailed all year 2025 to sweet talk me to the point that I would be like, yes, you just take the money from me, or something stupid like that. And I wasn't going to do that. I wanted to hear from his own mouth. I wanted to hear from his own mouth, him asking for money, so that everyone in the court could hear it. So basically, he knew I knew what he wanted, and he knew I wasn't going to give it, and he had to sweet talk me in front of everyone. So he went into a rage of anger. He hangs up the phone and he calls the court immediately, right after hanging up, in a rage of anger, and he tells them that my brain savant should not get freed at any cost because I'm a terrible person. And as soon as I hung up the phone on February 2nd, 2026, I wrote it in my journal, like right away, like I would just typed it up really quickly, like this man, he called the court in a rage of anger. But if you have to check the phone conversation from February 2nd, you will find that he was apologizing, sweet talking, calling me by my baby name the entire time because he thought he'd be able to get illegal assurance of money from me by now. He'd been pushing me the entire year of 2025, trying to get me pushed in under pressure so that I would give him illegal assurance of money, due to which on December 29, 2025, right at 1:27 p.m., right when he's kicked out of the witness stand, the first thing he does is ask me for illegal assurance of money, which obviously I didn't give because I knew that he just gotten kicked out due to being found out. So now February 2nd, he's trying the same exact thing. To try to get illegal assurance of money from me. And I knew for a fact, as soon as he would hang up, he would do this. And he would call the court in rage of anger because he knew that I knew that he wanted money, which is why he was running after me, even though our phone conversation was once every 5 years. And this delusional man just wanted my money after finding out about my brain savant. So on February 17th, the courts and government are not going to play around with someone who's playing around with their national security, making up lies all day long, making it so hard for people to even smile on live TV on CNN because of a crime and setting that didn't even exist on November 20th. So February 17th, the government puts in their government informant. They're like, you got to pry it out of him. What does he want? What's his real motive? He wants money. He has to ask for it. So the government informant just plain and simple tell him February 17th, look, we're going to let his brain savant go. It's coming out, okay? His brain savant's going to get freed really soon. And then the government informer's just like about to hang. He's like, all right, well, I've got to go. And he's like, no, wait. Before you go, it's getting freed. And the government informer's just like, yeah. He goes, all right, well, then this is what you have to ask him for. And he gives me like a list of like the psychotic demands for like $25 million. Like, I've been raised in poverty. He's never been there, ever, around me, ever in my life, okay? He paid, what, $90 a month when I was overseas. Like, that was it, only for a little while, after which I was homeless. And yeah, my stepmother abused me and I was like homeless afterwards. I never lived with him my entire life. Okay, this psycho just wants money, and he gives me a list of psychotic demands for like $25 million starting February 17th, 3:02 a.m., 8.9 million euro mansion. I don't have this money, and if I did, I wouldn't give it to him. He knows that. He should know that from February 2nd. So then on February 19th, he goes crazy and he goes, ask him, keep asking him over and over again, because now he's shown his motive out. And all that pressurizing all year and making false testimonies against me didn't pressure me enough for me to accept his illegal assurance of money on February 2nd, 2026 by just saying, oh, you'll get the money, don't worry, or something stupid like that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not giving him any money. I'm not giving him any illegal assurance of money either. So it didn't work, and I knew for a fact, like, as soon as I hung up, he was sweet-talking me the entire time because he thought I pressurized him enough, and now I'm just going to sweet-talk him and get him to like give me illegal assurance of money. And then as soon as I hung up, I just typed it in my journal like right away, like quickly, and like I just typed it in there. I was like, on February 2nd, 2026, he hung up the phone after sweet talking me, San, very sweetly the entire time, calling San by his baby name and asking him if he could go fix his doorbell for him or not, only to hang up the phone and then call the court right away in a rage of anger. Why did he do this? The courts have to ask him. How did I know? I'm not psychic, because I knew that by this time, February 2nd, he thought he put me in so much pressure, and after that, blackmailing me and now sweet-talking me to try to get me to just give him the illegal assurance of money on my own, which I'm not stupid enough to do. I'm not doing that for anyone. So February 17th, he gives the government informant a list of his demands, which are like this sick and disgusting list of demands, like $25 million Rolls Royce, basically asking for $25 million. 8.9 million euro mansion, or basically asking for 8.9 million euros. Okay. Yeah. And so February 19th, he's just like, keep ask him all day, every day, morning till night, because he's sick and tired, and he's given up his demands. His motive is way clear, okay? Everyone knows what his motive is now, okay? Now the only option he has is try to pressurize me to try to get me to agree to his demands, and I wasn't gonna do it. And so now, July 2nd, obviously, again, law enforcement, like, he's gotten help from law enforcement. They gave him all the false testimonies. Law enforcement knew that they were working on a false testimony against me for November 20th, 2025. So he's gotten help from law enforcement. He's helped law enforcement as well. So law enforcement cannot argue against my brain savant. It's not possible. We had a challenge, and it was like the scene from the movie The King. You know, King Henry goes and talks to the Prince of France, and he's like, "I'll make you a deal. Me and you, we're gonna duel, and we'll put the courts and all the government taxpayer money aside. We'll put all the government taxpayer money, the court case, everything aside. You think my brain savant doesn't exist?" Because October 2025, these people were running their mouths. You got to understand that law enforcement was running their mouth from morning till night. It doesn't exist. Scam artist, this, that, liar. I made it like they're losing in court in October 2025. I was like brainstorming in my sofa in my living room. I was like, I'm gonna buy the Caesar machine, which is like this machine. It converts textbooks into PDF format. I'm gonna buy. I already have a laptop, so I just need the Caesar machine. I need SD cards because I already have a tablet. So these people, and then I was like, I'm going to start off with zero tolerance coffee. I'll get that done in 30 days. Obviously more than 30,000 pages of the most dry thing any normal human being cannot get through. And with 2 pages in a month, I'll get through 30,000 pages in 30 days. So I'll get zero tolerance coffee done. Then I'm going to work on this, work on that. And law enforcement got envious. They're like, if you heard what he just said right now, you've just been scammed. And they were running their mouths all day, night long. So I made them a deal. Excellent deal. Just like in the movie The King, King Henry goes over to the Prince of France right before the Battle of Agincourt, and he tells him, look, you've been running your mouths a lot, so let's make a deal, okay? Let's cut the chase. Let's put the courts aside. All this trial that's BS. Since you're running your money fraud right now, you know I know, you've been collecting your money every single month. You couldn't care less about any investigations. People like us who were involved in the wedding crime, while I was busy working my butt off with my mother to help support my house, he was committing crimes, and he's your BFF, running around freely, having kids from prostitutes in Thailand, okay? And then you have your other friends like Uncle Joey, whom you've been running your sex schemes with since 2001. So let's cut the chase. You couldn't care less about any investigations. You found out about my brain savant, and now you're running your mouth about it all day and night long that it doesn't exist. I'll give you a deal you can't refuse. I'll meet you in Moscow, Russia, since you've been running your mouth all day, Kremlin, right near the Kremlin, and we're going to have this 30-minute brain savant test over there. If I win, then I'm Kim Peek Rain Man in 30 minutes. Then, I win my case, because the very last thing I prove, after proving that all you've done since 2001 is run sex scenes with Uncle Joey's in-laws and money fraud later on, that's still been going on right now. In October 2025, it was going on for years. And so, yeah, and all you've done with the criminals like Assad is like help him like have kids from prostitutes in Thailand and things of that sort of nature. All your friends are all incredibly corrupt, and these are the kinds of things that you've been involved in. So let's cut the chase. Last thing is my brain savant. All I've claimed is, after running a mock investigation where all you've done is run sex schemes and money fraud with every single person possible, the only reason you're obsessed with me is due to my brain savant. And you've been running your mouth all day and night long saying that my brain savant doesn't even exist. So I'll make you a deal you can't refuse. I'll meet you in Moscow, Russia, in the Kremlin, right near the Kremlin. We're gonna have a 30-minute brain savant test right there and then. If I'm Kim Peek Rain Man in the 30 minutes, I win. My case is over. After running your sex schemes and money fraud with everyone I've ever known, all you were obsessed with was my brain savant, due to which you were trying to frame me over and over again. Wedding incident, November 20th, everything. And so, yeah, I win my case right there and then in 30 minutes. If I'm anything short of Kim Peek Rain Man at the end of the 30-minute brain savant test, you win your case. You can use your severe mental torture drugs on me, and I'll jump off the cliff. You win, okay? It's like literally a death sentence for me, and I took them up on it. Like, I was sick and tired of all this crying, yelling, screaming, envious talk. Like, we both knew what the truth was, and they were only running their mouths due to their sex addiction, because the girls found out, and the girls didn't find out from me. They went around telling everyone about it, when in fact, if you have a lottery ticket you don't tell anyone about it. I didn't tell anyone about it. They all knew mid-June 2023. Sick and tired of everyone knowing about it, okay? I never told anyone about it. I haven't even used my Brain Savant, and everyone knows about it. Obviously, they had a brain scanner. That's how I knew. So basically, yeah. That's what happened last time they were running their mouths, and I made them a deal. And obviously, just like that movie, The King, they refuse. They have all this number, and they've been running their mouths against me, saying that my Brain Savant doesn't exist, and they still refused. I waited in Moscow, Russia, right near the Kremlin. I could see the 3 Golden Globes of the Kremlin from my hotel window, almost as if I could like reach out and touch it. I used to send a video to my mother every single morning, and these people were so cowardly, they did not do a 30-minute test. All they did was a small 1-minute test cheated on it, basically, on the night of November 14th, and get artificial intelligence to tell them, he is Kim Pickering, man. You challenge this guy, he's going to run you all over, up and down the hill, which we know for a fact. And then as soon as they get that result, they run away, never to talk about any Brain Savant tests. So yeah, basically, So basically, that's what happened. And so after the second set of lies my dad, the greedy framer, made, he went into court again early March 2026, early April 2026, February and March. All he did was beg me for money, try to get me to commit incest with his big fat ugly old sisters, offering on March 10th, every single day afterwards, send me sexually explicit pictures of a woman resembling her. March 7th, 2026, despite being told February 11th that this is an open advertisement for incest, he still sent me a porn star's picture with his sister Far's name on it. Okay, so yeah, early April 2026, he went back to court and he abused every single person in court, yelled at them, berated them, and then he was like, no, you're twisting my words, you're twisting my words. Every single time his statement had flaws found in it, only because he'd only been caught twice, and he's not going to let millions or billions of dollars that artificial intelligence has claimed my Brain Savant is capable of, due to how rare and profitable it is, and he's not going to let that money go to my mother when he knows he's not going to get a single penny out of it. Yeah, I would rather like pay anything or anyone than let him get a single penny of this money. So yeah, in early April 2026, he goes back to court. He abuses every single person in court, and every single time his lies are basically have flaws found in them. He goes, twisting my words, you're twisting my words, only for the courts to get sick and tired of all the abuse. At the end of April 2026, they retrieve every single phone conversation there is possible to retrieve, finding that, and I told the courts this before, every single statement he made was complete and total lie. All 3 times, by the way, Ibrahim, the greedy framer, he pushed forward all these lies. November 20th, he knew about, he never reported. He saw the mass panic and chaos. He saw his mother making those lies up against me enviously. He saw early January 2026, incredible piece of evidence. Ibrahim never cared. He pushed them forward very aggressively, knowing that every single piece of statement surrounding that incredible piece of evidence was false, and that piece of evidence was also fabricated and exaggerated. Early April 2026, Ibrahim, the greedy framer spokesperson, once again did the exact same thing. He was basically, he was pushing forward these lies very aggressively against me, okay, knowing that these were lies. And now every single time he gets caught, the courts are like, no, we know that's a lie. It's all fabricated, exaggerated. He goes, all right, well, second time. Then, here, look, I've got evidence, and I've got all the statements surrounding it. And then the court's like, all right, fine, let's listen to it. Then he gets caught the second time. The court's like, no, that was false. You made that up. He's like, no, wait, this time it's real. Third time, it's real. Look at this evidence right over here. I've got all these statements surrounding it. And then the court's the third time is just like, no, that was false again. It was fully exaggerated, fabricated. He's like, no, wait, fourth time. I've got this evidence. Like, this is the 4th time he's doing this. Okay, obviously he's lying. All right, and so before we get on to that, like, obviously he's definitely lying. Before we even get on to that, let me show you something else. July 7th, my dad, the greedy framer, is basically arguing for law enforcement that my Brain Savant doesn't exist. It doesn't exist mainly because law enforcement has never been able to do a Brain Savant test, and every single time they were forced to do so, like the last time was June 24th, they never overanalyzed it, even though they had the powers to do so, only because they didn't like looking into reality in the eye. The only reason they overanalyzed June 24th was due to the fact that they were getting police called on them every single day. Every single day they're getting the police call on them or threatening to do so by these girls that were coming after me that I never ran after, by the way, because I don't need to. When my brain savant gets freed, I get married and I live my life like that. I don't do these things where I run after girls and beg them for sex and stuff like that. Like, I'm not like that. And first of all, if you're autistic, like all their weirdos, copycats are trying to claim, autistic people have their own natural habitat. They like staying in it. They don't like going around begging people to sleep with them in the first place. But yeah, so July 7th, my dad, the greedy framer, is arguing for law enforcement. It doesn't exist. Brain savant doesn't exist. It can't. He just says these things. I've never lived with the man my entire life, from 5 years old till now. Never even lived in the same country as my dad, the greedy framer, ever. Never talked to him on the phone, making it impossible for him to have had any influence on my life or environment whatsoever. Never even talked to him on the phone. He doesn't know a thing about me. Okay, so now July 9th, the guy, the psychopath, after claiming on July 7th again that my brain savant doesn't exist, on July 9th he is basically sending me the same blackmail price tag, at least 15 in 1 day's time. He's got two faces. He was begging Miss Deb to not give me her daughter at one time, only to try to take revenge because he was getting ignored and rejected by me all year 2025. He wanted revenge from me, and guess what? At the same time, he's telling law enforcement, don't tell Miss Deb, but try to check to see this girl if he likes her or not. It was the girl from the Bentley ad. He wanted to check to see if his wife's sister's ugly daughter, if I was interested in her or not. And Miss Deb found out, because law enforcement tells Miss Deb everything. Miss Deb found out, and Miss Deb was just like, don't ever call me ever again. She told that to him, my dad, the greedy framer, because he would just use that as an excuse to call her all day, every day. Be like, don't give him your daughter. Don't talk to him, and stuff like that. At that time, Miss Deb obviously was running after me. She was one of the first people to know about my brain savant, which I never told her about, okay? And Miss Deb literally yells the crap out of him after finding out that he was trying to get his own wife's sister's daughter to get married to me through law enforcement. She yells the crap out of him and tells him to never call her ever again, saying that it's inappropriate for a married man with a 5-foot-long beard to be calling her all day and every day long. So yeah, there you go. That's what happened. But July 7th, he's been claiming in court that my brain savant doesn't exist. I don't have the potential to do it. Why is he claiming this? Law enforcement is not, mainly due to the fact that the entire pharmacy school, while I was being abused by my stepmother, he was adding acid to my clothes. By the way, I never lived with my dad, the greedy framer, ever in my life. He only paid like $90 a month till I went homeless and I went back to living with my mother, obviously. And yeah, so basically, yeah, so law enforcement cannot claim this, mainly because law enforcement was not only locking up my brain savant the entire time, also using severe amnesia drugs, so I couldn't study before my finals in pharmacy school. I couldn't even remember anything during my finals in pharmacy school. They confessed that they did this completely in the last biochem exam. Law enforcement also confessed that they did this in numerous exams in pharmacy school, even before my biochem exam, to force me to fail. So it's a miracle I got my college degree, considering the fact that in the end I even had to sleep on the streets, got all 108 exams done, and I was abused by my stepmother the entire time. She'd add acid to my clothes, didn't give me any food, same food left over for serfs is what I used to get. She'd puncture holes in my clothes so the holes would spread and my clothes would get ruined, add acid to them, not let it go through the laundry, so I'd develop ringworm infection. But yeah, July 7th, this psycho, greedy, envious man, my dad, the greedy framer, is claiming that my brain savant doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. He can't do it. He won't get any money. And then, like, literally, like 2 days afterwards, on July 9th, he finds out that June 24th has been overanalyzed, and this is what he does. Okay? July 9th, 2026, 10:36 p.m. He starts off with this. $11.5 million. It has Mona written on it. Mona is his nickname. Okay? This is just 1 day's time period. All right. July 9th, 2026. All right. This is for 6.2 million euros. Okay, the only person who would send a blackmail price tag in euros, 6.2 million euros, my dad, the greedy framer. All right, so first one had his nickname written on it, so I would know who's sending it. All the subsequent ones were in euros, so I would know that he's sending. I would know anyways. There's no one else. Okay, him and his framer sisters are the only ones who blackmail me for money. He makes sure that I know it's him by doing things like putting his nickname on there, just so that just to get a surety from the brain scanner whether I'm going to give him or not. I'm going to give him absolutely zero. He's not getting a penny out of me, psycho envious man. So this is July 10th, 2026, 6:29 a.m. and this cycle wants what? This is what, like 10.7 million euros? Yeah. And then other things like even like a castle for sale somewhere. Okay. All right, 2 million euros, 6:20 a.m. July. 2 million euros. Okay. Same thing, July 10th, 1:08 a.m. 2 million euros. 10:36 p.m. This is 6.2 million euros. Okay. And this is $300,000, 300,000 euros. This is 300,000 euros. These, by the way, he asked law enforcement to send me. So you know for a fact that these are all blackmail price tags. July 10th, 9:53 a.m. This is, I think it's like 75 million euros. Basically just saying, how much money are you going to give me? July 10th, 6.25 million euros. July 10th. 6.25 million euros. Okay. Basically, this thing just keeps going on and on. He just keeps asking me 75 million euros, keeps asking me all day, night long for the entire 2 days to make sure that he could find out through a brain scanner what the chances of him getting any of this money are. This is 1.25 million euros. Yeah, 1.25 million euros. There you go. This is 8.5 million euros. Okay, all of these sent by him. Okay, and in the end, he tries these really cheesy, corny tricks. You struck my son. I heard you struck my son. Oh my God. I'm so sorry they did that. To try to get like sympathy from me to increase the chances of him getting that money. Even though at one time I know for a fact he was basically begging law enforcement to literally murder me at any cost, only because he did not want my mother to get any of the money he knew I wouldn't give him. I know this for a fact because the mosque sermons were always about how Abraham sacrificed his son, and it was such a great thing that he did this. Abraham sacrificed his son because Abraham saw a vision from God. You're not a prophet. You didn't see any visions from God, okay? And he was basically making up excuses about reasons to get rid of me, only because he was sick. He was rejected by me all year 2025, basically. So yeah, the guy is a psychomaniac. He's saying two things over here. July 7th, he's claiming my brain savant doesn't exist. As soon as the brain savant June 24th results are reanalyzed, or something close to it, he starts sending me all these blackmail price tags through law enforcement. So two things. This one psycho man is basically claiming